Hey, YouTube family, this is Byron Tyler. Welcome back to my channel. This past interview we did live on Facebook was Dr. Floyd Parris. He's the lead pastor at Leawood Baptist Church here in Memphis, Tennessee. Also, the president, director, founder, I guess you would say, of United Christians Expeditions. And so we're going to be kind of delving into more of the work there in Africa and hopefully some more talk, too, about what he's doing here with the body at Leawood Baptist Church. So thank you for watching. There is a part one to this interview. If you'd like to go back on YouTube and watch that, share that. Be sure and subscribe to my channel if you would. And for the next half hour, we're going to be just kind of sharing back for a radio show that's being recorded to air here on AM 640 and FM 100.7 on the Bot Radio Network affiliate in Memphis, Tennessee. But it's always a pleasure to have our guests to join me here in the studio, and also to bring you in via our YouTube channel so that you can watch and enjoy what we do here and kind of learn some things behind the scenes as we produce the radio show. So without any more comments, we're going to record another radio show. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Oh, yeah. Stand by. Oh, let's put the timer right there. Let's see. Get it back on the time. Didn't do that. Here we go. Hey, it's time for Mid-South Viewpoint. I'm Byron Tyler. Always a pleasure to get together with you, friend, and share about various ministries, events, activities, and you never know what you're going to find on the show. There's always a variety. Sometimes I'm coming to you from Israel. Sometimes I'm coming to you from Branson. Sometimes I'm coming to you from a location in Memphis, Tennessee. But we're glad to be here with you today. And welcome back to the studio, Dr. Floyd Parris. Floyd, we got together on our last program, and it just felt like there was so much happening. There was a synergy in the room of the things you were sharing and what God's up to through the ministry of United Christian Expeditions, a ministry that you and your son and daughter, want to include Julie and Philip. They both, yes, the three of you, started 10 years ago, basically, or about 9 years ago.
Yeah, 2012.
2012. Your wife, Penny, passed away 10 years ago this past month of May, on May the 9th. And I know that has been I can't imagine what it's like to lose your spouse, but you share with us on the program of how God's poured out his grace, his peace, his comfort. And you know Penny's in a better place right now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, one of the things that, people ask me all the time, they said, well, how did you deal with that when you first lost her? I said, well, I believe God's word is where all of our answers are. And 1 Samuel chapter 30, we find that David and his men have gone to avail themselves to the Philistines. And the Philistines said, well, we don't really need you. Just go home. So they get back to Ziklag, and they find that the Amalekites have attacked. And they have taken all of their women, all of their children, and burned everything. And, what happens on the worst day of your life? Well, it says that David and his men cried. They cried that there was no strength left in them. Well, when you lose a spouse, you cry until there's no strength left in you. The second thing David did was his men wanted to stone him. They said, well, it's your fault. If we hadn't been following you, this wouldn't have happened. We'd been in Israel. We'd been safe. And so your worst day just got worse. Not only did you lose your family, now your men have turned on you. And David said, bring me the ephod. My men need to see me pray. And I knew that people needed to see, is Christianity real? They need to see us pray. And then you ask the Lord, now what do you want me to do? Give you a new vision.
And that's what he did. He gave you a new vision through this work of United Christian Expeditions. And one of the things that you were telling me, that one of the areas that you went to from the West Nile, north of the West Nile was an area, I believe. Or was that the area there?
West Nile is the area that it's called.
But north of this area is a particular group of people that really weren't being touched by the gospel. There was no really witness. One of the main reasons is primarily Muslim. Is that correct?
There's a lot of Muslims up in that way. They're moving down from Sudan, And the Muslims actually right now have a strategy to put a mosque every 15 kilometers,
Yeah.
all the way across Africa.
And I think that same strategy is
Mhm.
applying right here in the United States too. I don't think
Mhm.
people are aware of that. There's more mosque here than in the U.S. than people realize.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
they're growing more and more. But one of the things that was really intriguing, the story you shared after you had gone to this community where cholera was it could have wiped out the entire population.
Absolutely.
The medicine that you provided through your doctors and the team that you brought in there
Mhm.
saved their lives.
Oh, absolutely.
And you got a knock on your door from the imam.
The Iman, yes.
Take us from that story right there.
We had sent 225 doses of medicine up there. 204 people were sick. 4 had died before we got there. No one else died once we got there. About a week later, the imam comes to me and knocks on my door, and he said, "Are you the one who sent the medicine?" And we said, "Yes." He said, "But you are Christians. We're Muslims." And I said, "Yes." And he goes, "And you do not charge us money?" And I said, "No. The God of the Bible tells us that we're to love each other. And you had a need and couldn't meet it, and we had the resources to be able to meet it, so we did." He said, "But you are a Christian and we are Muslim." And I said, "Yes, I know this." And he said, He said, "Are you also the one who starts schools?" And I said, "Yes, we start."
So you had quite a reputation already.
Already. He said, "We have no school in Aliba. Can you come and start a school?" I said, You do understand that these are Christian schools, right?" And he said, "If the God of the Bible teaches you to love in this way, then we need to know more about the God of the Bible." And I said, "Okay, we'll come and talk."
So has that school been established?
School has been established. And here's the way, I don't have a big organization. I am the president, CEO, founder, missionary, chief bottle washer, cook, whatever. But here's what we do. We go into a village, and I say this: if you will make your bricks, and they do it like Moses and them did in the Bible, if you'll make your bricks, I'll try to raise the money for the cement. If you'll get your timbers for the roof, I'll try to raise money for the metal roofing. And I tell them about when Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. I said, now, if you'll notice in this story, Jesus said, roll away the stone. Why? Because that's something they had the ability to do. Then Jesus did what they could not do. Lazarus, come forth. Then Jesus turned back to them and said, loose him, set him free. Why? Because again, that's something they had the ability to do. So we will work together, whether it's planting a church or a school. If you'll do your part, I'll do my part.
I think that's so important, Floyd. As we look at missions, is look at not just giving hands out, but a hand up. That's
Absolutely.
what people need. The partnership, letting the nationals really take the responsibility of ownership of the ministry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's never a time that it is my school. It is your school. I'm just here helping you. Now, they do call them, we have Penny Parish number 1, Penny Parish number 2, but it's Penny Parish number 1 is for example, at Larope. Penny Parish number 2 is at Penyanga. Number 3 is at Dufili, but it's called Penny Parish School Dufili. Okay. And so it's the village school, and they have ownership in it.
That's what I love about it too, them taking the ownership. And through the work, and this has been going on now for close to 10 years, what's been the biggest surprise or maybe the biggest mind blower of how God has directed this work so far?
I wake up every morning when I'm in Africa, and you never know what the day's going to bring, ever. For example, when I went to Penyanga, Penny Parish number 2, Penyanga was a village that's known for making alcohol. And when I went, and I was going to talk to the village if they wanted a school, and there were about 100 kids around. There were about 75 women and about 50 men. Well, the men were literally so drunk that they were falling off the logs and the chairs. And it just kind of flew over me, and I said, I came here to talk to you about your children. You men are too drunk to listen to me.
Oh my.
Y'all don't want to school. Y'all just want to drink. I said, you're horrible examples of fathers. You drink all day, you fish all night. Your boys never see you sober. And I'm leaving. They said, no, 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 please, please, please. We're sorry. We're sorry. I said, no, no, no. School's supposed to start in 2 weeks, and, I can't have teachers here, and you people are not serious. They said, no, 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 please, please, we are serious. We're serious. I said, no. So I got in my car and I left. Went back to my house about 20 miles away. 2 days later, they called me, and they said, you must come, you must come. So I go back, and they've put a bamboo building up, a classroom.
In that amount of time?
In 2 days. They've destroyed their stills, okay, and have sobered up. So we started a school there. About 2 months later, I had the imam from Dufili come to see me. And he said, are you the one who started that school in Penyanga? And I said, yeah. He said, we have no school in Dufili. And I said, you understand it's a Christian school, right? And he said, yes. But, we have to get off at the ferry at Larope and walk through Penyanga to get to Dufili. I said, yes. He said, if Jesus can make the difference of those alcoholics in Penyanga,
oh, wow,
we need him in Dufili. And what's kind of funny is the Muslims don't drink. So drinking was never their problem, but seeing the change that Jesus made and that school made.
That was the testimony.
Right. That was the testimony. So we went to Dufili, and that's where school number 3 is at.
Oh, wow. Floyd, I remember the late Dr. Paul Davison. I call him doctor.
Mhm.
I don't think he had the official title, but
Brother D, yeah.
Brother D, professor at Mid-South Bible College. He said in a missions class, the need doesn't constitute the call. Now, with so many needs among the people that you see there in Africa, I mean, how do you determine God's calling you to meet those specific needs among these particular people?
I've always been a world Christian. When I say world, not worldly, but world Christian. I've been to 48 different countries. I was in Russia, 3 months after the wall came down. I've been literally all over the world. But when I saw the need there in that West Nile region among the Mahdi people, and nobody was going there. Nobody was doing anything. And you literally can't pick up a rock and throw it any direction and walk to the rock without crossing a need that you can help meet. Then why do you need to look anyplace else? There's nobody else coming here. We have a model farm to help teach them how to provide better for themselves. We're training pastors, we're planning churches. When somebody says, can I go on a mission trip? My answer is yes. What do you want to do? Because trust me, there's stuff you can do. Whether it's training people to work with cement or electricity or farm or sew or anything, medical, dental. I've taken everybody. There's a place for you to go. With Samaritan's Feet, we put 33,000 shoes on the feet of the people in West Nile.
33,000.
33,000.
Wow.
Even among Muslims. And Muslims are kind of weird about having, outsiders touch them, and to wash their feet. And we said, look, we've got to wash your feet in order to see whether you have something else wrong, something else going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a leading cause of many fatalities around the world. We don't see it as much here. Obviously, we wear shoes,
Right.
But in the places in some of the third world countries, especially in the areas in Africa, the different kind of parasites and the different kind of things, of fungus and things that can really be detrimental to feet. And I mean, to the human, to a person.
Oh,
Can
absolutely.
start with the feet.
Yeah, I've seen thousands of children who have walked through some contaminated soil, and these parasites get in through the bottom of the feet. Okay, then they grow and they become worms inside the leg, and then they crawl up toward the knee, and then work their way out. and they have these huge sores where these worms come out.
Oh my. Wow.
You know,
Floyd.
And you see that all the time. They still have active leprosy over there. I don't know if you've ever seen a leper or not, but I've seen it many times. Malaria, typhoid fever, yellow fever, AIDS, tuberculosis, you name it, and they still have it.
And some might be listening right now, Floyd, to say, why do you want to go with people with all those kind of diseases? Aren't you concerned that you might pick up one of those,
Yes, I've had malaria. I understand. I've had malaria many times, and I laugh at it. And the reason why I laugh at it, the first time I got malaria over there, my fever was very high. I was hallucinating. And I said, well, we've helped the hospital out so much. Just tell the doctor that I have malaria. And then they went to the hospital and they come back and said, oh, we're so sorry. The doctor is not here. He is in Kampala getting an award for being the best rural doctor. But they gave me the medicine. I got better. I came home one Thanksgiving and I'd had malaria 6 weeks before. And Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, my fever went up to 106.4.
Ooh.
And my family freaked out, wanted to take me to the hospital and all this other stuff. I said, listen, nobody in Memphis or the Mid-South knows how to treat African malaria. I've got the medicine right there in my bag. Just give me the medicine, ice me down, let me sleep, and I'll be okay.
Oh, my. Well, Floyd, let's bring this back here to Memphis. As we mentioned, you're the lead pastor at Leawood Baptist Church, a church you grew up in. At one time, were on staff as the youth minister. Now that you've been, I think, the senior pastor for about a year, not quite a year?
Just right at a year.
Right at a year. How does this impact the work that you're doing in Africa? How does this impact the dynamic of that work that you're now pastoring? Because that's a big responsibility too.
It is a big responsibility. The biggest thing is the time difference. I get calls from Africa literally every day, and usually it happens about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning because that's when it's daylight over there. And but we have a wonderful team on the ground. We have it set up. They're working. I have a church planter who speaks 11 different languages. Dialects there in Africa, English, of course, being one of them. English, Arabic, Mahdi, Lugandan, Basoga. I can go on. So he does a wonderful work planting churches. I have another business person who does all the accounting. I have another one who is over the farm. I have another one who's over transportation, who coordinates moving materials or whatever we need to get where we need them to get to. And
I think this takes us back to what we talked about last time on our first program, the entrusting leadership,
yes.
entrusting to faithful leaders
Yes.
who can help carry on the responsibility and to take ownership of this work.
Oh, absolutely. Brother D taught us about missions. So oftentimes we see mission organizations who don't have an exit strategy. You need to have an exit strategy from day one. And of course, my PhD is in missions. So my exit strategy was on day one, we're going to be partners in this. So you're going to see every step of the way. And you see what we're trying to accomplish from day one. And then that allows me to step back and say, I'm just in the support role. I can call you and say, what do you need? What can I help you with? I don't have to plan the strategy. We started the association among the 19 churches, and I said, okay, every church, and they say contribute, every church contributes something. And then y'all decide where the next church needs to be planted. Okay, y'all know how to do it. Y'all know what we did in your village. Y'all get together and do that. They don't need to see the Mzungu come and speak. Okay, y'all go and speak. You speak their language. You know
Right.
who they are. You know what they're going through. So of course, I was back and forth for 5 years, very hands-on. But now it's their ministry, and we're supporting them, and they're doing the work.
How about churches stateside? And because I know that we've all been given the mandate by the Great Commission to take the gospel and the church's responsibility to take the gospel to all nations, to disciple and make disciples of all nations. How are these churches responding? Are you finding a team of stateside support where churches are coming along and maybe adopting some of these ministries? Or
It's kind of funny. When I was out of the country, people gave, because that's kind of the normal mission model. Oh, he's overseas. Let's support, Brother Floyd and his work. Well, when I'm stateside, it's like, oh, well, you're stateside now. Well, yes, the support never did go to me. Okay, the support always went to them. And just because I'm home doesn't matter, because they still have the need. So we have seen kind of a dip in that. Of course, I don't know, economic. People give to felt needs.
Well, I mean, is the church at home, the American church at home, do you feel is losing its vision for world missions?
I think so. I think the American church as a whole, we tend to be a little bit more inward turned. We tend to be a little bit more, and I hate to say this, but comfort oriented. In rainy season, for example, I'll have people walk 17 miles in the rain to church and be there for 7 hours because they're event oriented in Africa. Now they're soaking wet. They've got mud all over their good clothes, and they're going to be at church for 7 hours. And then quite possibly walk home in the rain at night. But they're so happy to be there to worship.
Wow.
Our people are like, really? That's a long-winded preacher. He went almost 40 minutes last Sunday, and that's just kind of how we are.
Gotta get the line to Piccadilly, Pastor. Come on.
That's right, man. Don't hold us over. We're going to miss that buffet.
What about the fellowship there at Leawood? Of course, they know you grew up there, but seeing now that your heartbeat for the work in Africa, you have plans to take in members or those who want to participate? Do you take teams from your church there?
Oh, absolutely. We're willing to take teams there. Leawood is different from what it was when I was there. We are a multi-ethnic church now. And what we say is, we've been witnessing to people who live in those houses for over 50 years. Now, their skin color may have changed, their language may have changed, but they still need Jesus.
I mean, at one time, Floyd, Leawood had probably the biggest bus ministry in the city of Memphis.
Absolutely. 22 buses, 22 bus routes. We had 25 buses, but I had 22 bus routes.
I mean, we don't really see churches with that type of bus ministry anymore, do we?
I haven't seen any that large. We're still running buses at Leawood.
Are you?
We still have 2 bus routes that we run every Sunday morning, and we have a one bus in spare, in case one of the first 2 buses breaks down. And
well, you talked about the multi-ethnic culture of the church now, and how are you adapting to the changes in the community? I mean, I know, and even around the circumference of the church, within a couple of miles or so, that the dynamic of the neighborhoods have changed quite a bit. I know there's
absolutely.
There's a Latino population that's come in. So how is the church engaging these particular opportunities?
Well, at Leawood, for example, we have Memphis Athletic Ministries that helps with homework and sports in the afternoon. We also have English as a second language that meets. We also have the Morning Center, which is a free prenatal care, doctors and nurses, the whole 9 yards, from conception to 6 weeks postpartum. And we also have the Mission Center, which gives out food and clothing on Monday and Wednesday from 9 to 12. We have Celebrate Recovery that meets on Tuesday nights. We have SAM, we have Brotherhood, WMU, all the normal.
So what I'm hearing you say is that the heartbeat of ministry, the love for the city of Leawood, which the tradition and heritage of ministry goes way back. I mean, I remember the Thief in the Night films that you used to play, and those Christian movies that would have movie nights there.
Yep, absolutely.
And different groups would come in and sing, and evangelists would come and do ministry there. It goes way back. And the investment, I know that the late Dr. Jerry Glisson, I know there's been couple of pastors since, his passing, but he was there for 40 something years, I believe.
He was there 36 years.
36 years.
Yeah.
But the men he mentored over the years,
absolutely.
I've met so many people that were mentored by who are pastors and have been in the ministry, including yourself.
Oh, amen. Clayton Wilbanks, also.
Who's now your associate.
Who is now the associate pastor. He is there. We're getting ready to do Judgment House. As a matter of fact, just before I came up here, we are cutting up a car to bring it inside the building to reassemble it for our Judgment House, which will be the middle 2 weeks in July.
Okay, do you want to explain what Judgment House is for those who might not be familiar?
Judgment House is a walk-through drama that always shows the gospel being presented to a group of teenagers, and they have the chance to either accept or reject. And then we follow them, and there's some tragedy. And then we follow them to see what the outcome was, the result of the choices they made. And we'll follow one into hell, and we'll follow one or two into heaven. And you'll get to see, tour your final destination. It was started by a group in Clearwater, Florida, Tom Hudgens, many years ago. We do ours in July because it's got nothing to do with Halloween. It's just straightforward presenting the gospel. So it's going to be in Leawood in July, I think July the 13th through the 20th. And
So it'll run a couple of weeks then?
Yeah, it'll run 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
2 weeks.
And is there tickets involved, or you just show up?
Just, you can call the church, make reservations, or if you want to help, call the church and ask. We can always use another actor, another person who wants to come by. And you call Inez at 901-324-7169. That number again.
Yeah, give it number again.
901-324-7169.
And I think I remember, didn't you work in radio too at one time?
I did. The joy of 1590 WMSO back in the day.
You were at MSO.
I was at MSO.
Well, you know, this station evolved into MSO.
That's right.
I mean, from MSO. Originally,
right.
It was WMSO many, many years ago.
Out on Byhalia.
At Byhalia Road. Yeah, that's where I used to work out there. And then the Bott family came and bought the station in 1986 and changed the format to where we are now to Bible teaching. And then 30 plus years later, here we are together talking about.
Here's a funny thing for you. In 1978, they approached me as a junior in high school to come and have a local radio program. And I did, and it was called High School Happenings.
Okay, I did not know that.
And I was to come and tell what Collierville High School was doing that week.
Were you at Collierville?
I was. I graduated from Collierville. My dad was a school teacher, so I got the opportunity to go to school where he taught.
I didn't think I realized that you had grown up in the Collierville area. Of course, where the radio station here is licensed for. What is your greatest desire for the work of United Christian Expeditions?
For them to be totally self-sufficient. And I'd like to see that happen by 2022. That'll be 10 years. They are close now. They are beginning to do things that Buddy Moyo has mangoes, but they have no way to get it to market. So we bought a truck so that the local person can make money by selling his excess food. And we can ship it down south and sell it and put money back in the ministry so we can help buy more medicine to go back to the north.
Wow. I love it.
So,
Floyd, this has been great. These past 2 days of programs, sharing your heart. And really, we'd like to dedicate part 1 and 2 of the show to Penny.
Oh,
you know,
thank you.
And your kids too. I mean, Julie and Philip, the faith and how God moved on their heart when you went back to Africa to see the amazing things that God has done. I just felt like it was a necessity for us to have 2 shows because there was so much to talk about. We couldn't do it in one program. That's why I wanted to have you come back and share. Okay, how can people listening or viewing the program right now find out more about the work of United Christian Expeditions? If they want to travel with you on an upcoming trip, what can they do?
You can go online. You can contact me at UnitedChristianExpeditions.com. And you can also go on Facebook. We're there. You can contact me at Leawood Baptist Church. And that number again is 324-7169. And we're open for anyway. Invite us to come. We'll share at your church. We'll do whatever we can.
Now, the service times at Leawood, when are they?
Sunday morning, we worship at 10:30. And Sunday night, we're at 5 o'clock. Wednesday night, we're at 5:30.
And the website for Leawood, I don't know if you gave that or not.
The website for Leawood is leawoodbaptist.org.
That's right, leawoodbaptist.org. Get more information about the church, the various ministries that are there, friend. And thank you so much for joining us on this edition of our program. These past 2 shows, we've had Dr. Floyd Parris, senior pastor at Leawood Baptist Church, again, also the founder and president of the ministry, United Christian. I get it backwards there. United Christian Expeditions.
That's right.
Sorry. Yeah, we've got a United Christian Expeditions. And thank you, friend, for praying for the ministry. Thank you for listening for these shows. That's all the time we have on this edition of Mid-South Viewpoint. I'm Byron Tyler. Bye-bye now. Okay, YouTube, as you saw me kind of flubby-dub the end of the show there, but we can, magic of editing can fix a lot of that. But hey, thanks so much for watching live as we stream these two programs, part 1, part 2. Please subscribe to my channel, share the work, pray for the ministry that God has called Floyd to. Again, United Christian Expeditions. And if you would like to possibly learn about traveling on an upcoming program, go traveling on, not on a program, but traveling on a mission trip to Africa with the mission team. You might be a doctor, a nurse, or you have some other trade capabilities that you could, share that service to Christ's kingdom. Well, that would be a great opportunity to connect with this ministry. Go to the website and learn more. But we're going to say goodbye. Hey, appreciate you watching. Floyd, you want to say anything as we wrap up part 2?
Thank you so much for listening in and watching, and keep it up. Do subscribe to his channel. Okay, it'll be a blessing to you.
All right, thanks a lot.